Well, hello there, everyone. I am Maya Engel live in our digital studio, and welcome to our first ever UpNorthLive Unscripted. So, this is going to be our new ABC format, and it's also going to be on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Sorry, I have my IFB and I'm hearing my feedback. It's a little distracting. Anyway, so our new format is going to be similar to our other newscasts, except for instead of having all of our stories and reading off a teleprompter, playing every single video, we're going to be unscripted, and we really want you to be involved in this. So every day we're going to have a question of the day, and I'll put that up right now. So our question today is related to a special report that Mark Schlett's been working on about a new law in Michigan that allows local communities to put a bed tax on hotel rooms to fund local projects. But it's not really happening here in northern Michigan. So our question today is, I'm going to make it a little bigger. Would you support a 3% hotel tax to raise funds for your local community? So if you scan that QR code, you can vote. And right now, looks like 62% are saying no, 38% are saying yes. In a couple of minutes, we are going to show Mark's story that'll go into a lot more detail about what this exactly means. And then we're actually going to bring Mark in here to kind of debrief his story a little more. But first, I want to bring in our chief meteorologist, Joe Charlevoix, from our Storm Team Weather Center. I'm going to get rid of the question of the day for now. Hi, Joe.
Hi.
You can hear me okay?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I hear you fine. I'm in here with Trevor. He's our digital guy. He's telling me about his new cat.
Oh, nice, Miller.
Right.
Well, we can talk about cats later. For now,
right.
Let's talk a little bit about weather, shall we? What's the rest of it going to look like?
Yeah, it was a kind of an interesting day today. We had some rain to the south and sun north, Maya. So it's kind of been a tale of two different areas. If you look up here, you can kind of see the Mackinac Bridge in pretty decent shape. But around Cadillac, Kalkaska, you've had a little bit of rain this evening. That should come to an end. And tomorrow, as we head into the day on Friday, I think we're going to get a pretty decent day in tomorrow for Friday. And then, of course, it's Mother's Day weekend, maybe a few showers around. So we'll talk more about that coming up in our main weather segment, and that'll be coming up in a little while. But back to you, Maya.
Thanks so much, Joe. And yeah, during that main weather segment, Joe's going to go into more detail about the forecast, and he'll also take some questions for you. So again, the whole point of this style of show is to get you more involved. So feel free to leave any comments, any questions in the comments below, and we will try to get to those when we can. But I'm going to circle back to our question of the day. So again, would you support a 3% hotel tax to raise funds for your local community? As I mentioned earlier, this is a story that Mark, our anchoring reporter, has been working on for a couple weeks now. It sounds like a great concept to be able to provide more resources for local communities, but it's not happening here in northern Michigan. So I'm going to play Mark's story, and then when we come back, we're going to sit down with Mark and kind of dive a little deeper into this. So here is Mark's story.
Seen as a tax or an increase of a tax, I really see it as a modernization.
And in type and text, this is the modernization that State Representative John Fitzgerald is referring to. It's legislation he proposed in 2023 that Governor Whitmer signed into law April 2nd.
This bill really started off as more of a statewide approach. I was approached by some of my local communities, especially Grand Rapids, who had some large-scale public projects that they were hoping to have come forward to be realized.
To be realized, projects like the Grand Rapids Riverfront Amphitheater needed funding. This provided that by allowing
potentially on the county side.
Bed taxes are kind of a new idea in Michigan, but if you travel and check your receipts, you've probably seen them elsewhere. The thought behind them, visitors can help cover some of the cost of funding things that bring visitors to an area. That money's collected at local hotels and used to fund local projects. Michigan's new law has limits, like it can only be used for things like sports complexes, convention bureaus, aquariums, and of course, music amphitheaters. It has another limit that doesn't sit well with an awful lot of communities because this law only applies to a handful of downstate counties.
Shouldn't this be expanded statewide? Why are these 7 or 8 counties getting this and we can't?
That is a very good question. That is a very good question. I think what has been happening in Lansing and under these acts is they are picking winners and losers. They're determining where they want to see economic development and major tourist activity, and not necessarily assisting other areas of the state in their own economic development.
And that has the Michigan Association of Counties wondering why the expansion of the bed tax is limited at all. They argue it shouldn't only be available to a handful of counties or for a handful of allowable expenses.
Michigan Association of Counties has been advocating for quite some time to open up the utilization of a bed tax to help support the services that are required all across the county. And our stance is that the residents of those areas are paying for those public services and they're subsidizing those tourists that come to their area.
They aren't alone in believing that this certainly has benefits to those counties it includes, but that expanding it to allow all local units of government could have far more widespread benefit.
I think it's great for Kent County, but I got to tell you, I feel a little left behind. I feel like these are challenges we have as well and opportunities that we should be part of. I can't understand why the pie was cut into such a small piece and only a few counties got to participate at the end.
Grand Traverse County isn't eligible for the hotel tax. But let's break down some numbers to understand why leaders like Commissioner Andrews feel left out. Let's say Grand Traverse County has roughly 5,000 hotel rooms times 365 nights a year. Published reports suggest the year-round occupancy average is 62%, higher in the summer, lower in the off-season. Accounting for the seasonal flux in room rates, if the average year-round hotel rate is $200 a night, that's $226 million in hotel revenue. If the county was able to collect a 3% bed tax, Grand Traverse County could collect $6.8 million a year.
It is significant. When we have a total annual budget of $50 million, a huge chunk of which is public safety, a huge chunk of which is responding to peak demand, peak issues. Our dispatch is being built around peak, as opposed to the everyday uses on an average Tuesday in February. We have to design our system for those peaks.
Fund a lot of things in towns across northern Michigan. They keep local businesses in business, but they also cost communities to host them. Roads get more wear and tear. Public safety has to be able to handle the added numbers, as does infrastructure like cost of having them here. And expanding this would be a good first step.
This would be a way to ensure that the user is paying, a user pays system, and not to the full extent by any means, of course, but it would definitely be a way to equitably obtain a revenue source that is based on the use of the resource.
For now, the potential revenue source this just doesn't allow for it. But it sparked a conversation and a call for more from some.
In a perfect world, I would like to see that bed tax be available to every single one of my 83 counties across the state. I would like them to be able to collect that tax and utilize it for the infrastructure and the services necessary when they do get a big influx of tourists across the state. I'd also like to see access to those funds for their own version of economic development.
All right, I am back here with Mark now. I'm going to put up our question of the day again so you folks can vote on what you think about this. Let me make sure you can see Mark. There he is. So, Mark,
Yeah.
you went into depth pretty well, but one question that comes to my mind is why is Northern Michigan not eligible for this? Why are some counties eligible
Yeah,
and others
eligible and others aren't, right. I think you have to go back to the original way that the original legislation was proposed, because as the original legislation was written, it actually only included Kent County. It was
Interesting.
one county, and it really was intended to help fund this riverfront project.
Right.
It allowed, based on the way it was written, a county with this size population and a community with this much of a population. When you did the math, Kent County was the only one eligible.
Okay.
Now, the way the legislation is written is it does allow for Kent County to collect a 3% bed tax. It allows the community of Grand Rapids, the city of Grand Rapids, to actually collect a 2% bed tax. So that city is eligible. So this does help fund that project. As it made its way through Lansing, other counties started to step in and say, hey,
wait a second.
we like this. Now, again, with this particular legislation, you can't use it to fund your fire department. You can't use it to fund. It has to go to these tourism drivers, if you will. When I asked the lawmaker, well, then what if is it a benefit if you're not building an aquarium or an amphitheater? And he said, yeah, because chances are your community is spending on tourism drivers, and this frees up general fund money that would have gone to those can now go to help fund these other things. So I think originally the legislation was written for just Kent County. A couple other counties got onto it and said, we would like to do this as well. Some people love the idea, some people hate the idea. So, but the Michigan Association of Counties stance was, we should let every county decide, because ultimately voters in each county have to decide, is this something we want to do? Do we want to collect this tax to fund these projects?
Right.
So why is the decision being made in Lansing when it would be up to local counties, voters ultimately, to decide if they want to do this? Shouldn't we be given the option?
So is there a push moving forward for Northern Michigan counties to fight for this?
Well, this is all new. Governor
Right.
just signed this April 2nd. So it's just kind of going into effect. I think there are counties that are looking into this. And the interesting thing is, you look at someplace like Traverse City or Petoskey, someplace that has a lot of tourists, a lot of hotel rooms, right? And you think, boy, there's a lot of money on the table right there. Some of the people that are in favor of this are saying you actually need to look at places in the Upper Peninsula, smaller communities that maybe don't have a tax base outside of tourism.
Right.
So you think a small community that has a couple of hotels, but doesn't have a lot of other sources of revenue to fund parks, to fund tourism drivers, or to fund their police department. Traverse City has a tax base to fall out of other businesses. So this could have a big dollar impact here, but it actually could have a big impact in some of these other communities, smaller communities.
Sure.
So I think there is, and even the lawmaker who originally wrote this, Representative Fitzgerald, is like, I hope this is a jumping off point. I hope this starts a conversation. And he said, if this is something your community wants, get in touch with your local lawmaker and see if this is not the end all be all.
Right.
But this is where we're starting from. And it's going to be up to local lawmakers to reach out and say, hey, we want to get added to this, and see if they can work through that. Not every local lawmaker is going to want to do this, because there is concern from the tourism industry of, well, suddenly that hotel is starting to get expensive. We're going to have our convention in Ohio,
Right.
or someplace else. For the individual user, we've all booked hotel rooms, right?
Yep.
And you always book it on the website and you're like, $129 a night, great. And then when you go to check out, you're like, $146 a night. Where did this extra money come from? Because these are very common in a lot of places. And I'm not sure that there are a lot of people, and the people I interviewed expressed this, that are going to cancel a trip based on a 3% tax.
Sure.
Maybe, maybe not. There are people that doubt that, but it could generate some money.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting topic. It'll be interesting to see where it goes moving forward. Like you said, this is just the beginning. So Mark, thank you so much for being here and digging a little deeper. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to put our question of the day right back up, but we'll be back with weather in a few minutes. All right, welcome back everyone to our first Up North Live 6:30 Unscripted show. We're gonna bring in our chief meteorologist Joe Charlevoix now. Joe, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Hi, Joe. So today we saw some sunshine, some clouds in certain areas, a little bit of rain elsewhere. What can we expect moving into Friday and the weekend?
Really, you know, we are going to dodge some showers Saturday and Sunday, Maya. And I know it's the weekend, especially Mother's Day weekend, but I don't think it's going to be anything, you know, too crazy. Nothing very widespread. Let's start off, though. I don't know if you can take our graphics, Maya, back there. Let's see if you can pull those up. I've got the cameras in Mackinac City. Are you able to get those?
I don't see the graphic. It is just a black screen.
Oh.
Also, folks, bear with us. This is our first online show. So there's going to be a few road bumps, but just be patient with us.
All right, you know what? Well, here's what we're going to do. Trevor, can you go up and shoot? There, how's that work?
Perfect.
Yeah. So we'll start up north, and this is where we've had a lot of sunshine through the day today. It's been a pretty pleasant day up this way. But as we slide south, this is where we've had some showers across parts of northern Michigan. Not a lot of rain, to be honest with you. We've had some mainly light showers. Here, I'll get a little better look at this. There they are. So Cadillac, now Big Rapids, getting in on some rain right in there. So there's Big Rapids. You can see a little bit of that rain rolling in back over toward Houghton Lake. These are, again, light showers that are going to gradually come to an end. Low pressure sits way down near Cincinnati. You see that way down there. The showers that we have in parts of our area are rotating around this big, broad system from New York all the way to Wisconsin tonight. As that low departs, it's going to take any rain along with it. So here's over the next couple hours. I don't know if you can see make sure you get the clock in there too, Trevor, you know, kind of a wider view. But showers will depart here. There's, you know, around 10, 11 o'clock tonight. And then look at tomorrow. A nice day will run out, you know, we'll stop this around 2, 3 o'clock. If you look up there in Sheboygan County, maybe a pop-up shower. The point being, Maya, we should get a really nice day coming in tomorrow. I don't expect many major issues, upper 50s and low 60s. And then here's the issue for the weekend. There's early Saturday. Yeah, some rain comes in. That's a low pressure system. More likely, you know, south and west of Gaylord is where we expect a little bit of rain as we head into Saturday. And then that'll wind down Saturday afternoon. Then we get into Mother's Day weekend. And let me see if I can pull up the graphics I was looking at here. So there's early Mother's Day. Dry weather. See the clock up there? And then here come these showers Sunday afternoon. That's a little front coming through. So, yeah, there is the chance for some showers. There's Sunday night and then early Monday. That should be gone and over with. And then some quieter weather toward the middle of next week. So here's kind of what we're looking at for Mother's Day weekend. Saturday, yeah, there'll be some showers, especially south and west, upper 50s to around 60. And then on Mother's Day, if you do have plans, the morning looks pretty good. I want to reemphasize that the morning looks okay. But then as we get into the afternoon, showers rolling in. But temperature-wise, not bad. We're looking at mainly 60s and low 70s.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, thank you so much. We're going to take another break, but when we come back, we're going to check in with Sports Director Harrison Beebe to see what he is up to today. All right, we're going to bring in our sports director, Harrison Beebe, now. He is live in the newsroom. Hey, Harrison, how's it going?
Pretty good, Maya. How have you been? You've been pretty busy in this half hour since I saw you last in the studio.
It's been a busy half hour, but it's all good here. Now, in terms of what you've been up to today, the Tigers are off. So what's going on today?
Tigers are off, but we are finding more ways to talk about baseball. The Traverse City Dream Team, if you caught the segment in our 6 o'clock broadcast, if you didn't, it's online right now. The Traverse City Dream Team is going to begin their season on Saturday. For those of you who don't know, the Dream Team is a group of players with special needs that they're given this awesome opportunity every spring. It's a 6-week program that runs every Saturday at the Grand Traverse County Civic Center. They have player partners from different area high schools that help them get out on the ballpark, on the field, and take part. And that's the special edition this year. They've got new dugouts. This is a huge fundraising project that's been going on for about 2 years now. And it's allowing them to really be all accessible, wheelchairs, whatever people need to do to get in and out of these dugouts. That's what they have starting this Saturday for games going on at the Civic Center. They run 2 fields back to back, and a bunch of people come out. It's a public event, so it's really cool to be a part of. I've been honored to be a member of opening day now for the past several years. I'll be emceeing this Saturday. It'll be at 10 a.m. at the Grand Traverse County Civic Center. If you want to hear an interview with Dana Ryan, the president of the Dream Team, and Mason Riggs, he's one of the veterans, 8-year star athlete of these events. We spoke with them in the Jimmy John Sports Corner this week. That segment is already uploaded to our website, UpNorthLive.com. We go into detail about the dugouts, how those came about, and just really the excitement that these guys get. I'm there every year to see them, and the smiles on these faces, it's just really rewarding to see them get this opportunity and to be out on the baseball field like all of us get the chance to do or had the chance to do growing up. You know, these guys get to do it every Saturday as well in the springtime.
And it is so cool. I've been to a couple of Dream Team games, and just the atmosphere is so exciting. So if you are in the Traverse City area and you haven't been to a game yet, I know Harrison would back me up on this. I think it's definitely worth checking out. Just like you said, seeing all the smiles just makes your day.
Yep. And if you can't make it this Saturday, they're running 6 straight weeks. And a hot tip for everybody, they actually told me they're going to start a fall league as well and play a few Saturdays in September as well. So some expansion for them,
That
which
is
is
awesome.
pretty cool.
Well, thanks so much, Harrison, for sharing that with us. You'll have much more tonight at 11. But for now, we're going to take one more break, and then we'll take a look at our poll results when we come back. All right, we'll take one more look at our poll results for our question of the day, which again is, would you support a 3% hotel tax to raise funds for your local community? Looks like about 250 people have voted so far. 37% are saying yes. 63% are saying no. And if you do want to watch Mark's entire story on this, go to our website, UpNorthLive.com. But thank you so much for joining us here on our very first segment of Up North Live Unscripted. We will see you right back here tomorrow.